We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Netanyahu invited to Congress. Biden limits asylum claims. Pro-Hamas protesters return to Colombia, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. President Biden plans to limit asylum claims. The president is expected to sign an executive order today that would bar migrants who illegally cross the border from Mexico into the U.S. from claiming asylum once the number of daily entries hits 2,500, which it already has. The ability to seek asylum would resume when entries fall to 1,500 per day. The move comes as many voters have expressed that immigration is one of the top issues they're concerned about in this year's presidential contest, and that they're unhappy with how Biden has handled it. Doubts have emerged as to how this policy would be enforced. All four congressional leaders extended an invitation to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to speak to a joint meeting of Congress. I am very moved to have the privilege of representing Israel before both houses of Congress and to present the truth about our just war against those who seek to destroy us to the representatives of the American people and the entire world, Netanyahu said in accepting the invitation. But the decision to invite Netanyahu is splitting Democrats. This is probably one of the most disturbing things I can think Congress can do, is to have Netanyahu come, said Representative Ilhan Omar. It's just unconscionable. His crimes are about to be prosecuted by the ICC, the International Criminal Court. The international community is talking about him starving the population of Gaza, continued Omar. I don't think any leader should allow this to happen. The International Criminal Court has long been criticized by both parties for ignoring human rights violations from China, Russia, and several Muslim countries. And Omar's claims of Israel being responsible for starving people in Gaza has been debunked by journalists from across the world. Protesters at Columbia University announced the return of a pro-Hamas encampment on the school's main lawn, coinciding with the school's alumni reunions, which took place over the weekend. A sign declaring "We're back, bitches" greeted alumni returning to campus for their class reunions, as students pitched tents and congregated under a large structure the university erected on the school's south lawn. The students also unveiled a cardboard missile plastered with photos of Columbia President Manu Shafik and other university leaders. Dr. Fauci faced congressional grilling. The doctor, who helped oversee the U.S. COVID-19 response as director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, testified before a House subcommittee yesterday for the first time since retiring. Things got heated as some Republicans accused him of covering up the virus's origins and raised questions about personal email use for government business. Fauci defended the steps the government took during the pandemic and also emotionally described threats that he and his family have received. Fauci denied covering up the possibility of a lab leak, despite emails confirming his involvement in switching the focus away from the lab, and more emails stating that there was no evidence that masks or social distancing had any effect. Support shifts for Donald Trump. The Free Press spoke with voters from across the country whose opinions were significantly impacted by the guilty verdict in the New York trial against former President Trump, finding a group of what's been described as never-Trumpers are suddenly backing the former president following last week's historic conviction. Meanwhile, YouGov's survey suggests plenty of churn. 26% of voters say they are more likely to vote for him after the verdict, while 27% say they are less likely to vote for him. 39% say it won't change their vote. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.